And we are recording. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone here. Robin and Jane Gonzalez and Jane Davis and myself. Welcome, Maria. So I also am going to start with a silent prayer. So let's do that first.
Okay.
Okay.
Maria,
Yes.
This is Jane Davis. What I'd like to do here, it feels appropriate, and it's one of the tools that has helped me so much through this, and it's an all-inclusive prayer. May I just repeat the Serenity Prayer?
If you'd like, yes.
Okay. Grant the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jane. Okay, we're going to first start off with your story, Jane. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your history and the illness itself, that how it occurred and so forth, and lead up to today.
Okay. Just to give you a little bit of background of me, I was a professional athlete, a skier, always very athletic and active. Horses, tennis, and skiing were my three major loves and activities into my adult life. So 4 years ago, I actually got my first horse. And I always had, since I was 5 and I'm 62, I always took care of other people's horses. You know, watched it, rode them, groomed them, cleaned their stall, blah, blah, blah. And one day out here, I live in New Mexico, someone said, did you ever think about getting your own horse? And it was like, what a concept. So I started looking, and it took a year, and I got my dream horse that was a black and white paint. Actually, if we're friends, you will see a lot about Snickers on my website, on Facebook. And so 4 years ago, it was the end of the day. I wasn't feeling well, and my horse actually was in a I got that pull within me that I had to just jump on her and ride bareback, which is, the most freeing, wonderful feeling. And I should have, because should have known better. That's why I should have just gotten off. It just wasn't the time. Sit down, and she had a little spook. At something appropriate for her to spook at, I went off. And I heard someone scream my name, Jane! Well, I must have done like a double somersault off her butt and landed. And I remember laughing, because I always laugh, like in fear or pain. And I yelled out, I think something's broken.
Wow.
And everyone ran to me and said, don't move. And it was hot out. The sun was out. They put, shade things over me. It took 45 minutes for the ambulance to get there. And I was just lying in the scorching sun and couldn't move. And my hand blew up. My arm was broken in part of my wrist pulverized. And my hand immediately swelled up and was kind of black. And so finally I get to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. And I had an excellent surgeon. And with time, once I went through the surgery and whatever else you go through, it was about a month. And didn't know this, but I wasn't healing. And the surgeon, thank God, caught it, and within 1 month, diagnosed me with complex regional pain syndrome. And I started researching it, and, had no idea about it, and was very grateful because I've read stories where many people, it takes a long time to even be diagnosed. And I read that the sooner one is diagnosed, the better. And so I was very blessed with this surgeon. And I had to have someone help me. I couldn't bathe, wash, drive, cook. I had absolutely no use of my arm. Plus, I was in the worst pain one could possibly imagine. I was begging my surgeon to amputate my arm because I could not imagine that it would ever pass. I couldn't imagine that I would ever be able to bathe myself or cook or do anything. And I was bedridden, almost someone helping me. I would have been bedridden for 7 months.
Wow.
And
when you lost that independence?
Yes.
How did you handle that, Jane?
I was blessed. My 2 sisters hired someone. And I had, and there's the irony of it, I had someone come to my house at 7:30 in the morning until 5:30. And so if I had errands to do, and actually at that point my mother, who dementia, had just moved her here, so she was living out of my house. But so this person would take me to see my horse, would take me to see my mother, and honestly, some days it was like, who do I really want to see today?
Absolutely.
But that was a blessing. I had to have someone care for me, and I'm sure friends would have shown up, but for that amount of time, and that kind of pain, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
I don't remember where in the process I started physical therapy, but even going to physical therapy, I couldn't move my thumb. I couldn't make a fist. I couldn't, and, with the time element and the amount of pain, it's really hard to imagine that you're going to be normal again. And that's why I really wanted him to amputate my arm. I also wanted to die. And, so the irony is, one of the things I learned, feelings aren't facts. Because the truth is, they gave me so much pain medication that if I truly wanted to kill myself, I could have. I could have taken an overdose of pills. And, it's like I wanted to. I wanted the pain to stop. I also, as I keep saying over, I couldn't imagine that I would ever be without pain.
Right. Did you realize at the time that when you were asking for amputation that would not solve the problem?
No. I thought that would solve everything. And thank God my surgeon didn't. He wouldn't have listened to me, but he would tell me that. And no, it didn't make sense to me. It was cut this off, get this pain, done. And so no, there were, even as you're asking the question, I'm like right back in the pain. And I couldn't imagine why he wouldn't cut my arm off. And I was very angry. And one of the other things that was very hard in this process was until, people, even family members, everyone like, oh, are you feeling on?
Losing you.
Oh, how about this?
Much better.
This? Okay. It's people would want you to be better, want it to be over with. And so, it was hard to share with people. Well, your family
Right.
who were not aware of what this is. And I'll leap forward. Even to this day, this is 4 years later, in my right arm, I still, like with a saddle, you have to have a very lightweight saddle. Saddles generally weigh like 40 pounds.
Right.
I have to have one that weighs 20 because I wouldn't be able to lift it up on my horse. My whole right arm, I don't have a lot of dexterity in it, and I'm embarrassed. I find it embarrassing.
How do you deal? How do you deal with that? How do you cope?
How I cope with that is I do a lot of medication. I do say the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer is so powerful and helpful to me that even if I have to say it 50 times, it's a prayer of action, and it's such a simple prayer that it helps me.
That's awesome.
It just helps me, and the meditation, and I also spend or with my horse, or my dogs.
Right. Did they do a lot of treatments for you for your arm?
I don't.
Hello.
Hello.
There you go.
Am I there? Okay, thanks. Well, the physical therapy was huge, and the medication, I take gabapentin, and that actually the gabapentin is a drug for nerve pain. It's actually like, and I can just say how it works for me, because I'm not big on taking drugs. Even though I had those pain pills, I really, those codones, I didn't accept them, and I didn't really take them because I just didn't want to. So for me, the gabapentin worked because you can take a high dose of milligrams, and there's no known negative response to them. So I think that helps. It helps me sleep. And so besides physical therapy and the meds, I'm not sure what else I have. Don't remember.
Okay.
Which is a good thing.
Have you had to endure any skin conditions because of your illness?
Well, at the beginning I did, because my hand was black. And so I guess that was, the major skin condition.
So let me get this straight. The RSD, CRPS, is then just located in your arm. It hasn't spread, or has it spread? Did I lose you? Hello? Is anybody there? Hello? Hello? Okay, we're back with Jane Davis speaking about CRPS and her story, and so we got cut off, I did, and there's a storm coming, so we are going to continue the show in a 2-segment here. So Jane, why don't you go ahead and pick up from where I missed?
Okay, so the question was, or I was hearing that my hand was discolored for quite a while, and it was just dark. It was dark. And that was really the discoloration that I dealt with. For me, I think it was just more the pain. The deep, deep, deep pain pain, and I could not move my thumb, like not even a quarter of an inch without excruciating pain.
Wow.
And, and the physical therapist, everyone, kept encouraging me, telling me, you're going to be okay. This will pass. And my father sent me a sign, and this too shall pass. And so, it has subsided. I wouldn't say it passed.
Mm-hmm.
So the key is, how do we deal with it? And so I have this kind of ridiculous thing I hold from when I was 14 years old and a professional athlete. And when my coach would say, Davis, give me another mile, and I wanted to scream at him a curse word and say, tell him what to go do to himself, because I couldn't imagine that I could even take another step. My legs were in so much pain, but you don't say no to your coach.
Mm-hmm.
So through that, I thought, I used to think I'm very connected to God and faith, and that's a whole other, which I'll share.
Mm-hmm.
It's what kept me going. But so I think that maybe God had me go through that as a teenager, so I would be kind of prepared for the CRPS pain that I was going to deal with as an adult.
Wow.
And then in June of this year, I broke my little toe and bones around it. And so here's an example. I'm not sure if we've got this recorded or not, but I just keep pushing through the pain. I am determined that I am not going to let it get me down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes I just want to rest and stay in bed, and I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I will, pamper myself, but it's not going to stop me. I just am too ferocious like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, if the pain's there and I'm going to, so that day in June 3rd, I had an interview, and so it was the morning, and I walked into my step stool, and I knew what happened. I knew I had broken my toe. I didn't know to what extent the pain, and that boom, excruciating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I get pain beyond normal pain because of CRPS.
Mm-hmm.
So I buddy taped it because there's nothing you can do with a broken toe. I put on a sandal,
mm-hmm.
and in my excruciating pain, went to my interview.
Wow, you're brave.
And, I think that, I don't feel brave. I just feel like this is how I get through it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it doesn't feel brave. It's like maybe it's anger, and I'm going to rebel against it and go, you're not going to get me. You are not going to get me. And, but there are times when I do just stop. I'm not like that all the time.
Uh-huh.
But I went on the interview. Unfortunately, I didn't get the job. But, I went on the interview, and then I went to the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
But first I got done what I had to get done, and then I'm in the car, hysterical, crying from pain, called a friend, and she said, you better get, an x-ray right now, get to the ER.
Right.
So I was like, okay. And so that, and here we are in September,
mm-hmm.
that pain has traveled. My toe now is fine,
mm-hmm.
and my foot's fine, but the pain traveled up my leg. And so I have been in excruciating pain in my upper leg or thigh or hip or back, or something got totally discombobulated, because they had me in this non-flexion shoe boot.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm totally out of whack. I have not ridden my horse. I can hardly walk.
Mm-hmm.
I use a cane, and then I try not to use a cane. But there are times when I literally cannot take another step, and I'll sit down.
If you had to describe that pain, how would you describe it?
Okay, because I'm sitting here now talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's in like my upper thigh on the IT band side, or hip or where the glutes, and it's just, oh my God, it's hard to describe. It's just like, it's a combination that pins are in it, like heat, shooting up and down, and dull, but painful dull. So
what kind of techniques do you use when your pain is at the most, and maybe depression is starting to set in too? Is there any kind of techniques that work for you?
I've learned to massage myself. I also have learned to remember to put on ice or heat. The ice seems to feel the best for me.
Really?
And someone told me don't put it on for more than 15 minutes, even though it feels good.
Right.
And because they said that extra 15, it doesn't help.
Right.
A chiropractor friend told me that. He said, and then I will take a hot bath. But sometimes I get afraid because I'm afraid I might not be able to get out of the tub.
I'm surprised that you use ice with your illness, because of ice being able to make CRPS or have CRPS spread, but and I know so many people, they can't use ice, but I find it interesting that you use ice, that you're able to use it.
For 15 minutes, I put it on the spot. I put a towel. Under it, so I don't have. It's kind of like, that ice pain. I don't get the ice pain because I have covers, layers, and then put and for some reason it works. That feels better than the heat.
It's awesome.
And I just do it for the 15 minutes and the massage. Just touching it, putting pressure on it. It seems.
Go ahead.
No, it just seems to help.
Okay. What have you found positive and negative for yourself with complex regional pain syndrome?
Well, I think that the positive is that I keep getting through. There's a lot of times though I'm exhausted, but it's that pushing through. The negative is the depression. I don't know that. I think when I had it, at the clinical depression with the pain, there are times when I can't take it, and I don't want to get out of bed, but I do. I don't think I've had one day where I've stayed in bed. As much as I think I get the comfort out of staying as if I'm in bed, even though I'm getting out of bed, because that's that pushing through. So I guess the positive things, are that I get through, and it's like, oh wow, okay, I got through that. Okay, I did it. So I know I can do it. And then that builds on, okay, Jane, get out of bed. And right now, with the pain I'm in with my leg, I don't know how I've done half the things I've done. Because I have clients, and I do equine-assisted therapy. And so I have to be standing on my feet. I haven't ridden my horse because the pain's too bad. But I've been, although I did one clinic. And when I got off the horse, they had to send a golf cart to me because I literally couldn't walk. And I think the hard thing is always putting on this smile, like, oh, I'm fine. To me, that's so unauthentic, and it's not what I teach. And I find that frustrating. Like, everybody needs you to be okay. And I find that I'm not as connected to support groups as I need to be, and talking to other people. And what I'm looking to find are people similar. I don't want to just hear the stories that drag us down. I want to hear, what are you doing to push through this? What are you doing to be stronger? We're living with pain.
Absolutely.
How do we do it? And not by crumbling.
Absolutely.
And of course we have days that we're going to crumble. Come on, and that's where we need each other.
Exactly.
But overall, how are we getting through it?
Yes, I totally agree.
So it's
I totally agree.
prayer, faith, literally putting one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And I think what you're doing is phenomenal to offer this opportunity.
That's the higher power. My God.
Yeah.
I'm only a tool. I have to give him all the praise. Jane, where do you go to find good information for your illness? If you want to find something that's for your illness that you feel that you need to find out, where are some of the places that you go to?
Well, I would go on the internet. I just Google, and I couldn't say a particular page from here because I'm sitting in a truck on top of a mountain.
Literally.
Literally, as we're speaking. And I sent Maria a picture of where I'm speaking from, so you all can get a sense of. And this is where I come for peace. And
I think that's a beautiful place.
Oh my God, it's
I can't wait to see
magical. It's amazing. But so I Google. I Google, I find articles, I read them, and that's,
Okay, so
that's how I research.
Right. We've already talked about the tools that you use to adapt, but is there other tools that you use to adapt to your situation?
Well, if I'm researching, pretty much it's just the internet.
Okay.
I have a couple of friends who have different pain illnesses, so I may talk to them, but I don't know. I haven't really found that connection.
So if someone new came to you, Jane, and they wanted to find out about complex regional pain syndrome, what would you say to them?
I would say go on Google and research it. Google it.
I don't know why we have an echo.
You can.
Okay.
I know there isn't a...
I know, and I don't know why that is. All of a sudden, it just came on all of a sudden.
Google
okay.
and read as much as you can. And I would say, and we'll talk.
So are you involved in any types of projects or anything that you're working on or that you want to share with us?
Am I involved in what kind of project?
Are you working on any kind of projects or events or things that you want to share with us?
Well, the project that I'm working on, and it's interesting, is building my business called Riders of the Stage, where there's no riding. But I have two clients who actually heard me speak once about pain, and they suffer from pain, and they've come for sessions. And what it is my horse is my co-therapist. And then I work with another, Fred Espinoza, who's a horse person. And we help people through their pain with the horse. And I'm picturing now, one of my clients was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And I have this picture of watching her hands touch my horse. And she has psychological pain in her hands. She thought she couldn't do anything with them. And then the other person who suffers from a chronic pain disease comes, and when she's with the horse, everything disappears.
Yeah, I know exactly how that is. When I have when I had my horse and working with other horses, it was so phenomenal for me. And I know I just went on vacation and I had to get up on a horse and go riding. I just had to.
And the horses are just sentient, amazing healers.
They
and
are.
Even if we're not riding them, because in my work, nobody rides.
Right.
It's all, you're creating a relationship with the horse, and the power of the horse helps you heal.
Yeah, I think one of the speakers might be interfering with the call, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe that's why it's chirping. Does anybody have any questions for Jane? Would they like to ask some questions? Hello?
Not at the moment. I really can't think of anything she's covered. I mean, it's given us so much detail and covered a lot of areas, and so I really have loved listening to you.
It's hard to hear you, Robin.
Oh, see? I can't hear either. Really, you can't?
No, there we go.
There, hear me now?
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Yes. I've really enjoyed listening to you. My CRPS is in my left arm, wrist, and forearm, and that. I thank God haven't had any other injuries, but I have experienced the same type of pain, not as intense, but in the opposite limb and in my legs and so forth. So I tell you, we just all have to stick together and pray for one another, because it's really, really a difficult thing to go through. And we just have to learn so much from each other, because God and us is really all we have, because other people, they really don't understand. They just don't. They don't. They have. But I would like to ask you for sure. And the people on this particular call, I would like you to friend me on Facebook, and also so we could call each other. To me, that's a tool that's missing from my life.
Oh, you can call me anytime.
I've already sent you a friend request. I've already sent you one, and I will send you. I'll send you a message with my number too. Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, you can call me anytime you have I think you have my number, and you can also call on Facebook if that works for you.
Oh, I don't even know how to do that. But one of the things that I ask, which is that when I call and I'm having feelings, I don't want anyone to fix me. That doesn't help.
Right.
What helps me is just now, I don't know who it was that talked about their arm, but what was so beautiful and supportive,
Robin,
was you shared what you were experiencing, and that's where I can connect. Not like for anyone to then focus on me and try to come up with something. No, it's like if we can share what we're going through, then that's, to me, the support. And so I'm glad we can say that in this call.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know that with my complex regional pain syndrome, it first started in my left leg, and then it went diagonally to my right arm because I slipped on some water and fell on with my crutches into the kitchen, banged off a couple cabinets, and 2 months later, there it is.
Right.
And it never really bothered me. I mean, it bothered me, but it never really got to the point where I was unable to use my right hand. But now I'm having problems.
Right.
Being able to type and things like that, it sometimes is very difficult, and the burning and the deep aching and the numbness and the tingling, and
Right.
it can get very
Right.
frustrating.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just, and nobody even the doctors don't necessarily understand.
No.
No, they really don't.
No.
No, they really don't.
They go
they
by
can
this
only learn.
textbook.
They can learn from what we tell them, but they
Right.
really don't understand. Right.
Yeah, you're so right, Rob.
But I'm thankful for them and thankful for them wanting to try to understand, because at least it's someone who cares enough to want to try to help us.
Now,
Yes.
the thing that bothers me the most is when you get a referral to go to a doctor, and then when you go to that doctor, he says, I'm not going to deal with RSD, I can't help you. You know, my whole day has been wasted because I've struggled to come see you, even though I've been through a rough night. I have had no sleep, and I waited for you like 2 hours in the waiting room, and now you tell me you're not willing to work with me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Horrible. That's horrible. Crazy.
Yeah. So,
So,
anything else?
I didn't catch how long she sat it.
4 years.
Pardon me?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. Okay.
I was diagnosed 4 years ago after I had an accident off my horse, and I had wrist surgery and arm surgery, and I wasn't healing. My doctor, my surgeon, was astute enough a month after he diagnosed me,
Wow.
because I wasn't healing. My hand was still black, and to me, I would have just kept going along. I didn't know any better.
And he what a month after?
Diagnosed me.
Okay. So you were diagnosed within a month.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it was pretty amazing. If anybody ever needs rib surgery, come to Dr. Chun in Santa Fe.
That's awesome. Jane, were you going to say something else?
I was just going to say that massage helps me too.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And has acupuncture helped anyone? It has not helped me, acupuncture.
It helped one of my friends.
Okay. I may give it another try.
Yeah.
Well, some of
I have not. I have not tried
it
it.
doesn't.
Couldn't hear you.
Some people it helps and some people it doesn't.
Right. Reiki also helps.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah, I couldn't get my insurance to pay for it. I got a couple
No, insurance
sessions.
won't pay for Reiki.
No, but they'll pay for us getting drugs.
So they'll pay for us getting drugs, and they don't necessarily pay for massage. It's
Yeah.
helpful. I use essential oils, and I've been years. And that's something that I won't talk a lot about right now on this call, but through, Facebook, if you want to hear more, I use a very, very high grade essential oil where I figure out kind of what's going on, even if I'm depressed that day. And in my water bottle, I just put 1 drop. So if anyone wants to learn more about essential oils and how it can help, just message me on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that
So,
I eat a lot of garlic. But it helps me. Garlic, and I put it in my smoothies and that, and I just feel so much better. when I eat garlic.
Cool.
Okay, well.
That's good. I mean, those are the things we need to share with each other.
Yeah. I was telling Jane last night about, we were talking about the aromatherapy dogs. Now Jane can't use it because of the flowery smell, but me, I can use it, and it, just put that puppy inside the microwave for a couple minutes and throw it on the back of my neck, and all of a sudden I'm in heaven for the couple minutes that it lasts.
Yeah. Well, you should definitely be in touch with me about the essential oil.
Yeah.
Very high grade. Most of the ones that I use, you can actually, use internally.
Really?
So, yeah, that's why and they're so powerful that I put 1 drop in a whole bottle of water. If you put more, it's too much.
I am going to have to learn that.
Be in touch with me over that.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Robin, were you saying something?
No, I was going to ask you, you're talking about the garlic. Is it like fresh garlic?
Yes. It's organic.
Okay.
I use the organic. I try to get as much organic as possible, but it's so expensive and the price is just rising every day. And I started off with a little tiny piece, and now I'm up to a couple pieces of the clove. But of course, everybody that comes around you is like, whoa. But you know what? Hey, I feel better.
And let me look into that, because I may have an essential oil, a garlic essential oil.
Okay.
I can check into that. And you would just, again, 1 drop.
Okay.
So that might be...
Yeah, I want to check it out. I'm interested. I am interested.
Okay.
Because I
so
use...
contact me on Facebook.
Okay, because I usually...
You apply the oil and rub it on, and you put it kind of into your skin. Is that...
Oh, they're different ways of using the different oils, and sometimes you would just rub it on. Sometimes you rub it on your feet.
Or sometimes you can take it and put it on your pillow like a lavender, and just put a drop on your...
you can do that.
Yeah, and it helps you sleep. I use the lavender oil on my pillow, and it helps me rest when I do sleep.
Well, what I would do, like for a lavender oil, I would use a spray bottle, and I would put 1 drop, or it depends on the size of the bottle, and then I would spray my pillow with it.
But wouldn't it still be...
So they're different...
Be wet?
No, not with a slight mist.
Okay.
You wouldn't mist and then put your head in me. So there are different ways of using them.
Okay.
And it's very powerful.
Great. Well, a lot of good information, ladies. A lot of good information. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the stuff. So it's about 8 o'clock. I mean, but if you want to go on for a couple more minutes, we can do that, because we started off late and then we got cut off. Well, I got cut off.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that anybody would like to share or ask or anything?
I just want to say, this is Jane. I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity to share, because it's like, oh my God, it's stuff that I squash down and don't get to talk about. So I feel through all of you, I feel so validated and like, wow, this is real. Yeah, we have pain. And how do we get through it together?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't feel so alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the touch that even though we can talk on Facebook, we have a place where we can come and talk openly, and people can use it as a tool or educate or awareness, and then we also get to bond personally, like. Hey, we're buddies, we're hanging out next door, and, we're all in the same room. Hey, could you pass the coffee, please?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
I want to thank you all for coming tonight. It's truly a blessing, and I, like I said again, so much good information, and I'm glad that we were able to bond and have the connection. And I hope and I pray that this will help someone else out.
Right.
So,
All right. Well, thank you all so much.
mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jane, thank you for having the courage to come and speak out and to connect with others, because that really takes a lot. You know, a lot of people with this illness, they stay silent, and we're not gonna be able to share awareness. We're not gonna be able to help each other if we don't start reaching out, even when we're in our deepest depression, because we're not hurting anybody but ourselves. And and we forget life still goes on.
Yeah.
And we need to do this more often. You know, when we find that dark point, and we need to have those tools in place and say, well, let me call this friend. Let me call this friend.
Yeah.
You know, if one friend isn't available and having a bad day, maybe that's not the person to talk to that day. Not that you can't talk to them at any other time. It's just that point. So you need to have more than one tool available to you for those times.
Right.
Or maybe you're having a good day and you just want to share it with a friend, you know, and say, hey, I'm having a great day in that, you know, so you know that somebody else is connecting with you. You're not all alone. And they can share their joy also.
Right. Yes.
So, okay, ladies, I just want to say again, thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate this. And share. Love you guys.
Yeah, thank you all so much. Love you.
Love you guys
Love
too.
you too.
Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.